No amount of whiskey in the world is going to make this feel better. How's it going? My name is Colin Winters. I'm the host of Panthers Den, and today we're going over the 14-31 loss to the Buffalo Bills. So yeah, the Panthers lost, and this is pretty much now the for sure out of the playoff, race. No longer, we are eliminated, we are gone, and honestly, this is a blessing in disguise because now we can finally look into the next year, seeing what we have to do, and seeing what we can do to make things better. Because, of course, what comes with this is, I don't know if I'm just hanging around the wrong social media pages, but the fans become insufferable. It's the end of the world. Everyone needs to get axed. Everyone's shit. Every player's trash. It's just, look, takes time and effort, and half that effort has to come from the fans supporting them. And if you're not fucking supporting the team, we're not going anywhere. Anyway, we're going to get into the stats. First, we're going to go over our own stats, which was Cam Newton in passing, going for 18 completions out of 38 attempts, so not too good there. 156 yards, 1 touchdown, and then one crucial game-sealing interception that absolutely just crushed any chance we had, because the score, was actually pretty competitive for a while, a lot more competitive than I thought we would be, but still, that interception pretty much sealed any chance we had of doing anything. But this game could have been a lot closer if it wasn't for a few key points. When it came to rushing, Cam Newton was also our leader with 15 carries for 71 yards and another touchdown. Chuba Hubbard was next with 8 for 40. Robbie Anderson had 2 for 33, and Amir Abdullah only had 4 for 7. And receiving, DJ Moore had 6:48, so he was playing. Amir Abdullah had 4 for 48 and a touchdown. Robbie Anderson had 3 for 29. Brandon Zilcher had 2 for 17. Tommy Tremble had 1 for 8. Ian Thomas had 1 for 5. Chuba Hubbard had 1 for 1. And then there's a lot of people on here that have probably just dropped a ball. When it came to our defensive stats, the defense actually, for the most part, did as well as they could against a very high-powered Bills offense. Jeremy Chin went for 5-2 and an interception, his second career interception, actually. Daquan Jones had 4-1, so he actually did fantastic for us. CJ Henderson had 3 for 2. Stephon Gilmore had 3. Yetur Gross-Matos had 2-3 and had 2.5 sacks. Bravion Roy had 2-3. Hassan Reddick had 2-2, and the other half a sack that Yetur had. Miles Hartsfield had 2-2. Justin Burks 2. Jermaine Carter 1-5. Marquise Haynes 1-2. Morgan Fox 1-2. Shaq Thompson 1-2. Brian Burns had 1-1 at his own sack. Frankie Louvu had 1-1. Phil Hoskins 1. Rashawn Melvin 1. Sean Chandler 0-2. And then after that, a few people that are just on here for either pass defending and other things. When it came to kick returns, Amir Abdullah was just fine. He had 4 returns for 70 yards with a 17.5 average, so that's pretty good when it came to kick returns. We only had 1 punt return, which was returned for 16 yards. And then we had for punting, Lachlan Edwards had 4 punts for 182 yards, 45.5 average, and 1 inside the 20, so not bad there. The real kicker, though, was the fact that we were without a kicker. Yes, during the pregame warm-ups, looked as if Zane just went down, he slipped, and ended up hurting. It seems like it was either his hamstring or his groin, but that did rule him out for the game. And I mean, he's been like the best player. He's been incredibly consistent. Panthers have been looking for consistency at kicker, and they finally had it. In this game, we had no kicker. Lachlan Edwards, he's strictly a punter. He was not, good for kicks. So we were kicking with, I think, Brandon Zilstra was kicking squib kicks for kickoffs. So while we did have 14, that's because we had a touchdown with a 2-point conversion and then another touchdown with a 2-point conversion that failed. So we did not kick a single ball with a kicker because our kicker was out and we had no one dressed that would be ready to go. This is an even bigger point because there are multiple times where the Panthers had to go for it on 4th down because of the fact they were in field goal range but had no kicker to kick it. So there have been multiple times where they were stuffed on 4th down, where they were in field goal range to put points up and make the score look even more competitive than it really was and maybe have a different outcome to the game. But without a kicker, it just goes to show that kickers are a valuable part of the football team and that they can win or lose games. And in this case, it wasn't the fact that his leg lost his games, it was the fact that he slipped and, cracked his groin. But in all seriousness, I'll hope that he does get better soon. 1, because he's just a human. You always hope that for a human. And 2, because we want him back. He is a great kicker. He has been doing great for us this year. And we just want him back healthy. Big word. Healthy. If he has to sit a few weeks and we just get another guy off of free agency, fine. We want him healthy and back to consistent again. We don't want to ruin him. Going over to the Bills stats, we're going to see that Josh Allen had a pretty good day, 19 completions out of 34 attempts. So, I mean, it's, not... better than Cam, but not by much. We did pretty good job there. But he had 210 yards with 3 touchdowns and, of course, 1 interception. Devin Singletary rushing was 22 for 86 and 1 touchdown. Josh Allen was 3 for 24. Isaiah McKenzie was 1 for 8, and Matt Breida was 1 for 1. When it came to receiving, Gabriel Davis was the man of the year. Well, man of the day. He was with 5 receptions, 85 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Dawson Knox had 4 for 38. Cole Beasley had 4 for 35. Stephon Diggs had 4 for 35 and a touchdown. Devin Singletary had 1 for 10. Isaiah McKenzie had 1 for 7. And then after that, we had Tommy Sweeney just having here. He must have dropped one. I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure I remember him, looking down like, oh, fuck, what did I just do? When it came to the defense, of course, their defense was great. But that's also because our offense plays like ass water. On their defensive stats, they have Dane Jackson 5'2", Tremaine Edmonds 4'3", Micah Hyde 4'2", Levi Wallace 4, Jordan Poyer 3'3", Teron Johnson had 3-1 and a sack. Carlos Basham Jr. had 3-1. Effie Obada, who used to be a Panther by the way, had 3 tackles and 2 sacks, so he had himself a day. Matt Milano had 3. Mario Addison, another former Panther, had 2-1. Harrison Phillips 2-1. Star Lutulele had, once again, a former Panther, had 2 tackles and a sack. Ed Oliver had 2 tackles. Jerry Hughes had 1-2. Vernon Butler, another former Panther, had 1-1. Vernon Butler is a former Panthers first-round pick. Gregory Rousseau was for 1. A.J. Klein is the man who intercepted the ball at the end of the game to seal it for the Bills. He also had 1 tackle. And then after that, it was just assisted tackles for Tyler Matakevich, and then Cameron Lewis. When it came to Bills kick returns, they had Isaiah McKenzie and Marquez Stevenson. And, Isaiah going 2 for 36 and then 1 for 13. Nothing there. Good job. For punt returns, Marquez Stevenson had 2 for 31. Not bad at all. Tyler Bass, of course, was just the ultimate, oh yeah, I'm just consistent, just going to kick. He did fine. Nothing. He did what he had to do. That's it. And then punting, Matt Hawk, he had 5 punts for 188 yards at one side of 20. So we did make the Bills punt quite often. So I do give the defense credit for that. But we just couldn't do enough to stop them. And the offense constantly just sputtered out. When it came to team stats, for total yards, we had 275. They had 312. For passing yards, we had 124. They had 193. For rushing yards, we had 151. They had 119. Yards per play, we had 3.9, they had 4.8. When it came to first downs, it was extremely close because we had 19, they had 21. For third down efficiency, it was also close. We had 7 for 17, and they had 6 out of 14. For fourth down, it was not close at all. We had 1 for 5, they had 1-1. Total plays, we had 71, they had 65. Sacks allowed, we both allowed 4 sacks. We only punted 4 times, they punted 5. When it came to penalties, we also won that battle with 5 penalties for 55 yards. They had 8 penalties for 67. When it came to fumbles lost, we both had 0. We both threw 1 interception, and time of possession was, decently similar with 31-25 Panthers, 28-35 Bills. If I'm going to be completely honest, this wasn't a terrible game by any means. I mean, I actually quite enjoyed watching it. I know I'm always a little, cynical whenever I'm watching the games themselves. I like to always call them names if they're, not playing well. But I mean, of course, that's just being a fan. You heckle, you cheer, all that stuff. But overall, this wasn't that bad of a game. I don't think there's any reason to be really totally upset about it. The score could have been a lot closer, and there could have been maybe a different outcome to the game if we had our kicker, but of course, we can never know. We're never going to know. What happened has happened, and we just need to keep moving forward. We need to keep supporting this team. We need to keep being good fans. I'm always going to love any sort of Carolina sport, and I'm always going to root for them. So at this point, we just need to stop being crazily pessimistic and need to start thinking about, okay, we can start thinking about the future now. We can start thinking about what's going to happen this next offseason. A lot of the contracts need to be re-signed. A lot of extensions need to be made. So we're just going to have to see what happens. Hopefully we can get the things done. Scott Fitterer has shown to be a great GM who takes chances, and I am extremely happy to see that. I'd rather have someone take chances than, be incredibly conservative, because that makes things, 1, more exciting, and 2, just because maybe, if you hit on that one crazy transaction, then that could mean the world to your franchise. Either way, I almost got the score prediction correct, but otherwise, there's not much to talk about for this game. We're going to have a lot more videos coming out soon about what this looks like for the Panthers in the long run. But essentially, the season's over. We just need the guys to play their hearts out and start resting guys that need to be healed so we don't overwork them. But we'll be fine. So I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.